Catalyst for experience. Yeah. Um, as you could imagine from the title, it's about customer experience and stakeholder experience and how to improve that. And what we know from old is that when customer experience breaks down, it breaks down because of people. It doesn't break down generally because of systems and processes. That's driven by people anyway. But it tends to be attitudes, behaviours of people that let the side down. And to avoid that from happening, the organisation and all the people and contributors to it need to understand what the brand is about, what it's trying to do, and what standards it sets. Often those standards are written down somewhere in a Word document as a contract or a policy, but they're not really understood and they're not lived. And so customer experience, stakeholder experience, it has to be lived every day. To get to that, you need to make sure that those values, those attitudes, those habits are built in to the culture of the organisation. How do we build a better customer experience or a stakeholder experience? Well, the starting point for that is to understand what is the strategy of the business. What is the business or organisation trying to do? Who owns the challenges and the objectives of the strategy, and how is that strategy being actioned? What we then need to understand is a diagnosis of where the performance of experience is today and how it's being measured. It would be fair to say that many organizations are measuring customer experience based on very basic surveys and reviews that, 4 out of 5, or is it 5 out of 5? Well, does it matter? Does anybody understand that anyway? I mean, I think my 4 out of 5 might be somebody else's 5 out of 5. I mean, for me, 4 out of 5 means 80 out of 100. Am I going to give somebody 90 out of 100? Well, probably not, unless it's exceptionally good customer experience. So even those measures are not necessarily that helpful. It allows people to pat themselves on the back, but it doesn't really move the dial forward in the customer experience. It doesn't deal and tackle with the poor customer journeys, the long wait times, the things that actually put people off from doing business with an organization. Really, what we're interested in is what insight do we need to improve customer experience, and how are we listening to that? And I think in many organizations that role is lacking. Customer experience and service roles end up being responsible for the people that are doing those things, not the outcomes of the experience. And I think we need to change that. Catalyst for experience then is really about an intervention, a series of interventions that are very quick, that steer the organization to improve its experience, identify those areas that need improvement through building consensus, understanding, diagnosis of where the reality is today and what improvements are possible and desirable. We do it in a series of interventions, starting, as I say, with strategy, and then we move on to the diagnosis of the mirror back to management teams to understand where they've got to, and then to action planning, and then literally getting down to the weeds and the detail of who's going to do what and when are they going to do it for. So that is the leave behind. We're actually getting people to the next step of their journey, and we're going to do it as quickly as possible. But they're going to get a lot from it. They're going to get a very clear understanding of the health of their culture. They're going to get a clear understanding of the small things that they could be doing to improve customer experience. They're going to have a clearer understanding of how to measure and to listen to customer experience and stakeholder experiences. And I think that's really important, because if we don't measure these things, they don't get managed and they don't happen.